Hello, my name is Master Trams, and welcome to my channel. And also, welcome to Zest Husky Plays original map from well over a decade ago. And, well, since I've been playing on this map for almost a year now, I've been trying to come up with some names for it. Because, Zest Husky Plays his original map. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? So, I don't know, I'm workshopping names at the moment. My two favourite ones at the moment are Zestopia and Huskyland, but neither of them sound quite right just yet. So I'm going to put the ball in your court. Why don't you, in the comments down below, just leave your suggestion for a name for this map. I'll consider it if it's good. It may well become the name of this map. Anyway, today we are doing something quite exciting in that, well, first off, we're going to be building a couple of extensions, one to Tanning Head and a couple more to Naston. But the bit I'm most excited about is we're going to be running our first freight trains by the end of this episode. Running from Tanning Head down to Pladworth, which you will remember from episode 1. Blimey, that feels a long time ago. Also, because Pladworth doesn't quite have all the industries necessary to make this work, I'm also going to be introducing some truck routes, some lorry routes, which, if I get these right, will be really cool and quite realistic. Like, I don't think I've seen anyone use the technique that I'm planning on using today. So yeah, that'll be fun. Anyway, shall we head to Teffingly and start building these extensions? Right, so here we are at Teffingly, and let me just show you quickly the extensions we're going to be building. So the first one is quite a short hop through to Tanning Head, with, I imagine, one intermediate station at Ploubra. Then the other two are the more significant ones. We've got one from Tunting Head Cross through Newfingley up to Naston here. And then a second one from Tanning Head up to Naston. So again, all fairly standard and mundane. There are going to be a couple of freight yards around Tanning Head, which should be cool. But yeah, so I'm going to do it. Now, whether these are time lapses or just montages, I don't know. We'll see what editing me does. Right, I think those are the extensions done now. So you've got the beginnings of the main line to Trams, the beginnings of a branch to Kenningwell, the beginnings of Slinfingbourne Industrial Hub. You've got a siding here which will be used later in the video, and likewise you've got the main Tanning Head station here, which I'm quite happy with. Then over here you've got obviously Tanning Head Cross, which was built a couple of episodes ago, then a couple of local stations, and New Fingley, which will be an express stop. Then Trenhill City Road, which has a bus to both Trenhill City and Bradhead, and which will probably expand at some point to go into New Fingley as well. But yeah, so currently, yeah, it's a bus every 15 minutes, which is decent. And then finally Naston, which, I mean, I'm going to rebuild a road network off camera. But now, let's add some services. So I'm thinking of two service patterns in particular. Number one is a Teffingly to Naston service via Tanning Head Cross, and the second is a Lonningville to Naston service via Tanning Head, making use of the faster speeds. So I'm going to now create those two. So we will have an express sprinter to do this one. So you come into the depot, come into Teffingly, Bretell City, Cheybourne, Tanning Head Cross, Nenwell, Bardtown, New Fingley, Trenhill City Road, and then Naston. And we're just going to add Naston again. And yeah. So Naston unload and unload. And actually, yeah. So yeah, I think that works. So now we're just going to put this one in the corner. And watch it go. And off we go. There you go. So now I'm going to come down to Lonningville, and we are going to create a, there you go, the Turbo Star. And this will have 6 carriages. So we will have Lonningville sidings, Lonningville, Sinwell City, Brentwell-on-Sea, Sunbourne, Teffingly, of course, Ploubra, Tanninghead, Dunhatton, then Trenhill City Road, and finally Naston. And yeah, so the reason for these 2 stops at the terminus is to try and increase our profits a little. See, by having the train wait for so long at each terminus, the way I've been doing it previously, artificially increases the amount of time a passenger is on the train, which decreases the amount that passenger will pay. However, doing it this way should, in theory, mean that I can have passengers load just a minute before it departs. So, away we go. And obviously this one will be able to make use of the higher speeds on the main line. Right, so that's going. I am now going to go away and record these off camera. Record these? I'm going to go away and time these and schedule them off camera. And when I come back in just a second, I will join you to do the freight, which I promised at the beginning of the episode. So then, as you can see now, I have indeed gone away and timetabled a train. And even better, I think I've found paths for the Lonningville to Naston stopper, which doesn't clash with any future express services. Which, you know what, I'm very pleased with. This is eventually going to be a very busy main line. And it's mostly 2-track, with just a few passing places. So yeah, to be able to find paths which accommodate these express services, I'm really pleased with. Oh, and in case you were wondering, Trenhill City Road, for one that has a little bus service shuttling, that is doing very well. I think last time I checked there were about 80 passengers waiting at the station for trains. So, yeah, that's doing fantastically. As for the other places, well, I haven't rebuilt Naston's road layout just yet, but it's coming along. Like, the station's done, speed restrictions are added, and I mean, I think that's all I've done, really. But yeah, and then there are the 2 stopping services, which both run on an hourly frequency, so you get a roughly half-hourly frequency at Trenhill City Road. Obviously places like New Fingley and Drunhatton, they will only get an hourly service, but I think that's still enough to please the councils. But anyway, yeah. So shall we go and get on with the freight business? I think we shall. So then, the key to this freight train, which I want to set up, is of course Tanning Head siding here. But that is, so if we look at its coverage, you can see it covers 2 arable farms, a builder's yard, and a recycling depot. And crucially, this hotel here, which requires alcohol and food. So we need to just remember that one. We also need to remember these 2 arable farms, which produce grain and sugar beet. Now, if we come down to Pladworth over here, you can see we've got a grain mill which requires grain from the arable farm and produces food which is needed for the hotel. But then if we look over here, you've got a brewery which also requires grain and produces alcohol. Now obviously it would be even better if we can produce fruit. Unfortunately, I do know of a place, which is over here at Frunningwell Ridge, which produces fruit. So, my idea is to have 2 freight trains, or 2 freight services, so one of them will run from Tanning Head to Pladworth, and the other will run from Frunningwell Ridge to Pladworth. So, you know, fairly long distances. If I know the Tanning Head one is a very long distance. There is no questioning that. There is also the question of how we're going to carry enough cargo, because, well, trains are limited to 7 tiles long. So for the Tanning Head one, I might actually have 2 trains, one dedicated to grain, one dedicated to food and alcohol. So first off, I'm just going to build a depot here and get rid of these 2. So, just as an example, let's just buy a train. So I'm going to go for the power hall, and then, so we want grain first of all. So let's look at the stuff that can haul grain. So we've got hoppers, which can carry food, but no alcohol. And it's the same deal all the way down. And also the polyball copper is the only one which can go faster than 75 miles per hour, which is the locomotive speed. However, the other problem is that the polyball copper isn't auto-refittable, which means that at any one time, even if we were to focus solely on grain and food, the train could only ever be at most half full. So that does lend credence to separating product and supply. Because if we look here at food, specifically at the mail carriages here, you can see that they carry both alcohol and food, which is what I think provides the greatest opportunity. So, well, first off, I'm going to buy these two trains, and then food. So we want 6.5, there you go, and there you go. Right, so obviously these two are going to have very, very similar orders. However, I also just want to add them to freight, which I am going to recolour to grey and white. Yep. And there you go. Right. So 41 is going to have exactly the same orders and timetable as 36. So therefore, I'm only going to time one of them. So, Tanning Head siding, and it's going to go through Tanning Head, through Teffingly, continue down here, through Lonningville, past Froningwell Ridge, through Grutfield, and then through Fort Brondinghall, then through Tranfield, then I need to create a waypoint here. There you go. Which we are going to name Buntingfield Tunnel. So from Tranfield, you're going to go through the tunnel. And through New Slaston. Through Preffing Hill. And then to the industrial hub. So, now I need to just actually make these all via. Like so. Then Tanning Head siding, far end, full load, and Pladworth Industrial Hub, far end and unload. So we are now going to let this go. And Well, as you can see, it's not obeying the 40 mph speed restriction right now, so we can't really use this front to autofill. But hopefully, if we go up to Tanning Head, hopefully these two kick into gear. And if we fast forward enough, yes, it's starting to load. Not very quickly, granted, but it is starting to load. And there's another profitable year. Yeah, so I'm just going to fast forward now until this train is fully loaded and on its way, so then we can start autofilling. Which will take a while, but hey, that's what happens when you can carry, what is it? 338 tons of grain in one train. Ha! That difference between empty and loaded is more than 338 tons. Let me just check the localization. No, they are the same. They are the same unit. I wonder what's happened there then. Now, I do also want to see what this looks like when it's actually loaded. Because it surely must have some sort of animation for loading. You will have seen passenger service come through at one point on its new schedule. And so obviously Ronthing Hill Station, which you can see, in fact there is a passenger service. Ronthing Hill Station is the beginning of the branch to Kenningwell, which will also have express services at one point. Yeah, so we're over halfway to loading. Please have some sort of animation. It will also be interesting to see how much money it earns from, I don't know how you'd actually describe it. Well, yes, I do. It will be interesting to see how much money it earns from carrying this amount of grain that distance at a, well, it's not an insignificant speed. No, I don't think this wagon does have an animation. I think these are just covered hoppers the entire time. Nope, there's a passenger service again. That tells you how long it's taken to load, because that train runs hourly. So yeah, I mean, at this rate, it's going to be night time when it's running, which will actually be good for timing. I'm also very interested to see just how much grain is produced while this is gone. Because, you know, it's a long old journey and it's got to do twice. It's got to do a full round trip before it can come back for more grain. And it should come, it should leave any moment now. There you go. So now we can click autofill. So away it goes. So now let's head over to Frontingwell Bridge And let's go and build for sidings here. So they come off here. And so obviously this will one day be able to hold timber, chemicals, farm supplies, and engineering supplies. We'll ignore the fact that this creates engineering supplies because it just doesn't work with one. You need 2 stations. And we're not going to have 2 stations. Produces items such as poles and fence posts. Huh. Yeah, so the junction is going to come off here. Yeah. And there you go. And so, I mean, really, so then, how far can we take this? No, that's not long enough. However, that is long enough. So in 7. Now then. You know what? Yeah, that could work. Which allows it to be multi-directional. And who knows, if this takes too long, we could bring it into here to let a express train through, which could be fun. But yeah. Oof, 200 minutes to load. I mean, it's already at 25 times. So there's every chance that you might have a full load ready and waiting to go by the time this gets back. Then I want depot here. And finally, we're going to build stations. So that requires 6. Which we don't have capacity for, but I definitely want to do one of those. That's somewhere. So anyway, DWE. So then, now we're going to go for drag and drop. Like so. And like so. So we're going to rename this to Industrial Hub. And then we can get rid of the sign. Now then, what sort of decoration do we want? Well, I'm going to say let's have a platform here. Like, no, we want the platform to be a little bit shorter. And then, there goes a freight train. We're going to have a refueling station here. See, I think that works for now. So, yeah. Then we also just need to add in the 40 mph speed restriction. So then here, if current order is in the industrial hub, then speed restriction 40. And then likewise here. Then here, speed restriction 125. And likewise here. So, yeah. This works, I think. 53 tons of grain. Yeah, you're making decent progress. Now in Gindingham train depot, we're going to go for much the same with a power hall. But then we're going to go for fruit. Now then, which one carries the most? 27 tons of fruit. 81 tons of fruit. And 26. Okay, so it's going to be one of these. But how much? So a full distance train can carry 338 tons of fruit with polybore coppers. With a freight liner, you can carry 324 tons, which isn't as good. And finally, with a Habfist van, you can carry 351 tons. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using. Oh, but is there anything else? So you require chemicals and timber, you require farm supplies, and you require engineering supplies. But if we go here, you require oil, which Frontywell Bridge produces, and you produce chemicals. So is there a wagon which can haul both and be refitted? Or we can do that as a separate train. Although I'm not particularly a big fan of relying on that. So then, oil. No, they can't be auto refitted. Okay, now we'll leave that for a separate service. For now, my aim is to just get as much fruit to Pladworth as possible for the brewery. Well, it's coming to Tranfield. So then, Franningwell Ridge. Grutfield. Then Fort Brondinghall. There's a freight train. Then Tranfield. Then Flunfingfield Tunnel. Then New Slaston. Then Preffinghill. And then Pladworth Industrial Park, or Industrial Estate. So these are all via. You are full load, you are unload, and then you are reversed order list. There you go. So then, I mean, you're only at 85 tons of grain. I mean, you've still got a bit of distance until you get to Pladworth, but that's not close to halfway, so you are going to have a bit of a loading period. So anyway, let's just go for this, and oh, I'll need to add this to the freight group. Ah, so the door's open for this. So I guess no, we're going to follow this one for now, because you know it's quite boring watching a train load. But yeah, and as this train is now on what used to be the express line from New Slaston to Flunfingfield. Obviously nowadays it's a freight line, and well, eventually I want this to be quite busy, with like trains maybe every 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, who knows if that's actually possible, because you're going to have to fly them through the main line at either end. Well, not so much of a New Slaston end, because you've got multiple platforms and it doesn't actually come out onto the main line at Windward Falls. But certainly at the Flunfingfield end, the only way onto it is from the Southern Mainline, which, as already discussed, is going to be very busy. So, yeah. So that's doing a very slow job of loading. Yeah, and I don't think it will quite be a half load of grain, but it will be very close by the time this reaches Pladworth. So yeah, we're just coming through Windward Falls, with the next waypoint being New Slaston. And there's a mail train, whose path you've presumably taken. Yep, as you go around the outer platform. We'll ignore that clipping. But yeah. So we are through New Slaston. And then we're now on our way to Preffing Hill, which... So this bit of track was done way back in episode 1, which feels like ages ago now, but... Yeah. And of course this already existed long before Zest Husky started making videos on this map. Yes, then it'll slow down again to go through Preffing Hill. We're at 113 tons of grain. Remember, this can carry 338, so half of that is going to be 150, 169 tons of grain. So it's not really that close to halfway, but it's close enough that this train won't be waiting for 200 minutes for a full load. And we are now arriving into Pladworth Industrial Hub. So how much money do we think this is going to make? I reckon a fair amount. I don't actually know the maps though. Only 6,000? Wow, that is not as good as I was wanting. But anyway, that will be because it's most of the grain spent about 200 minutes. So it's the journey time plus 200 minutes. So I might actually add a second. Well, depending on how, we'll see. But anyway. So I'm sure it hasn't escaped your notice that if I click on coverage here, this brewery isn't covered by the industrial hub. But that's where the title of this episode comes in. Pioneering Trucks. Because I'm about to do something which I think is pretty cool. So first of all, it involves getting rid of this. And in its place, we are going to build a truck depot. So, yeah, now how are we going to connect this to the wider net? Actually, if we just do this, then that makes it pretty easy. So then we'll have a host of depots here. But first, so we are bringing in grain. So what we're going to use this one, which can carry grain but can't carry alcohol or fruit. So we're going to be using a hopper truck. Now then, fruit. Again, doesn't carry alcohol. So we're going to be using one of these. And then finally, alcohol, we're going to be using a tanker. So, yeah. But then here comes a clever bit. Oh wait, hold on, no, I needed that. Okay, hold on. Now I can go through here. So then, grain. This one. Actually, hold on, let's just minimize all of these for now. So we shall leave this to be itself. Oh, and of course we need to actually build the lorry facilities here. So therefore we are going to need at least 3 depots. So, you know, aesthetics, I want to keep them separate. But yeah, so each of these industrial hubs will have these truck facilities eventually. So we are now going to do a bit of a survey of the industries in the area which are not covered by the rail yard. So in coverage, yeah, kind of as expected. So first off, we've got this recyclables depot, or recycling depot, but the hopper doesn't carry recyclables. So then we've got the brewery, obviously. So actually I am just going to go into slots here. We are going to create a new group called Badsworth Industrial Hub. So all the lorries I create are going to be linked back to here. So then, this is going to be brewery grain with a capacity of 1. So then we've got a builder's yard which carries building materials. Nope. Sand, yep. Chemicals, nope. Building materials, nope. And running, but sand. So this is then Glassworks sand. So that's 2 possible routes. Then chemicals, nope. Farm supplies, nope. Food, alcohol, passengers, nope. Then we've got the scrapyard here. So scrap metal is carried. So then scrap metal A, because we don't know the destination yet, so it's probably going to be the rail yard. Are there any others fairly close by? Farm supplies, livestock and milk, nope. Nothing from here. We've got these. So I know there's going to be another industrial hub around about here.
So I think maybe these two are going to be with belonging to Pladworth, and maybe these two as well. So let's add clay. Yep. So then clay A. Then this one, manufacturing supplies, timber and goods. So then furniture factory, timber. Textile mill, manufacturing supplies, nope. Wool, nope. Plant fibers, yes. And goods, no. So then textile mill, plant fibers, and then bauxite, yes. Chemicals, nope. Scrap metal, okay. So we can turn this into aluminium, plant, scrap metal, and then aluminium, plant, bauxite. So that's those three catered for. Then I think we are us building materials. Stone and coal. So lime kiln, stone, and lime kiln coal. And then finally this gaggle of industries over here. Manufacturing supplies, so furniture factory, timber, B. So this is going to be A. Then textile mill. So in textile mill, plant fibers, B and A. Then more scrap metal, wouldn't you know it? So then scrap metal A, because only one of them needs to go to the aluminium plant, and then yeah. Right, so now let's go this side. I don't think we'll go very far because there's a freight line here which will probably have a yard or two. Arable farm, or sorry, dairy farm, nope, nothing there. Hotel, nothing. Dairy farm again, nope. Another dairy farm. Chemicals, plant fibers. So plastics, plant fibers. And then there's a hotel, so no. And oh, there's another aluminium plant. Okay, so this is going to be A. And then actually, I suppose this is also going to be A, because then aluminium plant, bauxite B, and aluminium plant, scrap metal B. So these are all the routes we are going to create. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 routes. So here we go. We need to build. Well, first we're obviously going to set up brewery first. Now, can this use a bay platform? I wonder. Let's just see. We can definitely use that. Nope, it is articulated. So therefore we're going to have it like this. So Menston Brewery, and then so route A is going to be Cladworth to Menston. So at Cladworth you are going to refit to grain and full load. No, actually that won't be needed. And then here you are going to unload and leave empty. So then before that you are going to try to acquire the slot brewery grain, and here you are going to release the slot brewery grain. So this will all begin to make sense in a minute. We're going to add a label here. Just going to say brewery grain and colour that in yellow. So that is the first step. Then here we are going to add Menston Road Vehicle, Cladworth Industrial Hub, Hopper Depot. Yep. So we're going to add another label and call this Decision and colour it in green. So then jump to order. So then, sorry, I've got another copy of the game open on my other screen, and I'm literally just trying to copy the format. So conditional order jump. Jump to order 2 when waiting cargo amount grain at station Cladworth Industrial Hub is more than or equal to 52 tons of grain. Okay, no, that's not even close to right. It's more than or equal to 52 tons of grain. So, okay, so you're still loading. And then conditional order jump. Always. So yeah, so now we'll do the final conditional water jump at the end. So I'm now going to go through and do this for each of the routes we identified, probably in the form of a time lapse. So then, let's get going. So just a quick correction relating to these. It's not going to the next one, it's always going to 28. Likewise here, conditional jump 28, oh sorry, 29. Always. And then here we need to go to the power plant, unload all, and then conditional water jump 31. Always. What does happen, however, is before each one, we're going to add a conditional water jump to the next one if slot occupancy is fully, so if brewery grain is fully occupied, you jump to the next one. Likewise, conditional water jump, so this is a bauxite, so we're going to go to a scrap metal. If slot occupancy, this is aluminium plant bauxite A, and so on. So yeah, I'm going to just continue making these orders. Again, staying in the time lapse. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit. So then, I think this is now done. And it is a mighty order list. It's not often you get them as long as this. So yeah, this involves 14 separate routes. So therefore, I'm going to clone this 13 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So now, this one will go to the aluminium plant. 242. We'll do scrap metal A. 243. We'll do plant fibers A. So this is just to kickstart the industries. Because unlike in Transport Fever 2, the industries don't start generating until a vehicle has arrived. So what I'm doing now is basically just causing the vehicle to arrive, so that the industries recognise that there is a connection. So 243 takes plant fibres A, 244 bauxite B, 245 scrap metal B, 246 scrap metal B clay, 247 timber A, 248 timber B, 249 timber B sand, there you go, 250 sand, so coal, yeah, 250, 251 so coal, so stone, and then 252 was stone, so therefore, oh no, we need another one. Wait, hold on. How many do we actually have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, yeah. So then, if we now go and look at the slots, so manage slots, we should now see a rather fun thing in that they all become occupied. Okay, this might not have worked. No, they are all occupied. Ah! Hold on. There we go. That was a problem. So yeah. Now these lorries are off to do their trade. And so you are probably going to the scrapyard. Yep. So you are going to start producing. So yeah. So as you can see, 238 is already back of the depot. And if we look at its orders, so this is how quickly it is evaluating. It is waiting for something to have enough cargo waiting, and then it will move. So if we just wait here, for example, and eventually, there's a few more return. Oh no, you're going straight through. Anyone else coming to the depot? You are, yeah. So, for example, let's wait until Pontfield Scrapyard has 52 tons of scrap metal. Which will happen soon enough. We're on 31. And 52. 45, sorry. 52, there you go. So then this one heads off. And yeah, to go and pick up the waiting cargo. I believe this one goes to the Preffing Hill aluminium plant. But yeah, so if there is no cargo for them to carry, they will simply go back to the depot. And there you go. Oh, here comes another one. Another two, which are ready. Where are these two going? Somewhere else. But yeah, so you can see it is entirely demand responsive, much like real trucking is. After all, you can only carry cargo as there. And so there is no endlessly waiting at yards for cargo to appear as you would normally do. And another benefit of this is that we've now created a bit of a road network. So at some point soon, I'm probably going to start looking at creating a actually organised bus network around here. After I've tidied up the various cul-de-sacs in the major cities. And I'm also going to be creating a few more of these routes, because obviously you saw there were two other trucks in the depot, one for the fruit and one for the food. So I'm going to be creating similar order lists for those as well. Yeah. It's made about as much money as a train has. Yeah, and as you can see now, it is going back to the depot. Interesting, I did... Yes, there is a lot of fruit. Oh, so it's got no destination. Oh, that's interesting. So they are producing anyway, even though they've got no destination. Well, that is interesting. Right. So now let's take a look at these. Yep, you go into depot. And you are now waiting. So yeah, now let's just look at these timings. Bloody hell, 52 minutes. So that is going to be 1 minute. That's going to be 5 minutes. That's going to be 12 minutes. It's going to be 9.5. That's going to be 11. 6. 4.5. 9.5. 4.5 again. And then 3. And then because it is longer than 4 tiles, I'm going to give it a 10-minute dwell. And just continue like this. So then, tanning head siding, all the way up here, no, all the way here. I am very quickly going to simply add this, unload and leave empty, because then (1.5) and 0, so then 9 and 1. And then we're going to remove the full load. So we're gonna have just one of these trains running every 3 hours, and we'll have its counterpart probably running likewise, maybe just an hour behind it. But yeah, I'll figure that out off camera. Then here, oh great, hold on. Okay, I'm going to sort this out off camera as well, because apparently this hasn't been autofilling. Well, no, I know it's not been autofilling. That does still make me curious. How much... A fair bit of fruit. So anyhow, cargo. Distribution. Right, yeah, so... I am going to go for... asymmetric equal distribution here. Which might mean I need to make... Yes, yeah, I am going to need to make some changes to this order list. Specifically to the condition orders at the bottom. So, if grain at Pladworth Industrial Hub via Menston Brewery, so it's basically just adding a bunch of vias to this. When bauxite to Binbridge factories via Binbridge. When scrap metal via Binbridge factories. There's a bit more money. When plant fibres via Binbridge factories. When bauxite via Bunthing Way power plant. When scrap metal via via Bunthing Way power plant. When clay via Pladworth Industrial Park. When timber at Pladworth Industrial Hub via Binbridge Pit. When timber via Daddingworth Portland. When sand via Menston Glassworks. Coal via its Printown Lime Kiln. And stone via Printown Lime Kiln. And then plant fibres via Bunthing Way Plastics Plant. And then plant fibres via Daddingworth Portland. There we go. So that should now be finished. And via any station. Yep. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I do not know how long it's going to be after all the time lapses. All I know is that I've been recording for about 3 hours, so hopefully it hasn't been too boring for you. And hopefully you've learned quite a bit. Because, I mean, I'm a massive fan of these trucks as a... I think this is unloading clay here. Yep, for transfer, so it won't make any money. But yeah. So, yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And
next time we'll be making more progress on the Southern Mainline. And maybe looking to introduce buses or more lorries or... Yeah, meanwhile, I've got a lot of work to do off camera. So until next time, see ya.